Well, you guys know, I mean, we all know, like I thought when I started a business, I'm like, oh my gosh, this will be so easy. And people will come out of the woodwork. And then you're like,
I'd like you to know, we slashed our prices on day 3 of our business. We're like, we're so freaking good. We're going to nail this thing. We put our price out there and then like on day 3, we were like, yeah, we might have overvalued ourselves. We're going to cut these.
Well, let's see. No, let's tell our story. Day 1, we launched. Day 2, we got sued by probably the biggest organizers in the game. Day 3, slashed our prices.
oh my gosh, seriously?
Well, they attempted to. I mean, if we let you think of probably who are the most famous organizers known,
I'll think about them. Yes.
And give that some thought. Yeah, they like came after us they've actually come after us a couple times. Now we just have a really good attorney, so it went nowhere. And I think it was a bullying tactic personally.
Oh, 100%.
100% a bullying tactic.
So, which again, sometimes you learn the ways to treat people off of how terrible people have been to you,
Yeah.
you know,
which is all of this is how we started the summit, is because we're like, we're alone. We have nobody.
And so, maybe other people would just like want it. Now the summit was Ryan's idea because Ryan comes up with every creative idea, and literally we're leaving a job. This is when Ryan and I still did all the jobs, just the two of us. Maybe we had a helper here and there. And she's like, why don't we do a conference for organizers? And I looked at her and said, sure. I don't think anybody's going to come, but sure, we can do that.
You were wrong.
How most of Ryan and mine's conversations go down, which we're both, I am actually like stupidly optimistic. So that's a funny response for me to have had. But Ryan's like, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm like, okay. And so the first year we did it, now this is pre-COVID, I think we had 130 people come from all over the US, all over Canada. And it was amazing. It was the like electricity in the room. You could have reached out and touched it. It was just a blast. All these people meeting people they'd only known on social media. And it was really, really fun. And then COVID hit. So we had a couple rocky years of just what's happening in the world.
Right.
And so the last year really felt kind of a reboot, because before last year, to be honest, we were going to stop doing it. It's a lot of work, to be honest, super expensive.
It's a lot of work. Everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, we care so much about these organizers, so we're not going to charge a crazy amount per ticket.
Oh, it's insanely reasonable. I mean, that's one of the things that I want to talk to people about is like, this is an insanely reasonable amount of money for a ton of education. And
I appreciate you saying that, which Ryan and I probably, even to our own detriment, we just have no problem spending money on things. If we believe something has value, I'm like, yeah, we'll be there. We'll spend that. Sometimes you just got to swipe the credit card and then figure out how you're going to pay for it. I don't know that that's good business advice, but
I know it's like,
all right. I believe that too.
Everybody.
Yeah. So there, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah. Send your letters to Brandie, not Ryan.
Ryan did not just tell people to just swipe their credit card.
Oh my gosh. But we weren't going to do it because it was just, we had really, the year before we had done it, and right before the summit, we were going back to being in person. The Delta variant came out, if you remember that one.
I do.
And it just killed everything. It was like, we are so up a creek. And so it was just like, we lost a ton of money on it. And we just were both like licking our wounds from just the world being a dumpster fire and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And at that time we were like, are events ever going to be normal again? Like you just didn't know. So
we didn't know. I mean, back at that time, I do think about that time. And now, you know, with the benefit of hindsight, we're like, oh, the world did sort of get back to normal. But at that time, you felt like nothing was ever going to be normal ever again.
Genuinely. Yeah. It was like, this is never happening. And especially again, you're in Minnesota, we're in California. It really felt that way here. So the CEO of M Design called us and was like, I really believe in this event. I believe in empowering women. I believe in all these female-led businesses. Would you do it? And we were like, well, okay, if you want us to, we will do it. However, it's really hard to even like making a smidge of money on an event. What we would need to charge is a lot, because the world's expensive now.
It's a lot.
Different. So yeah, she just said, M Design will be a big part of it if you guys will do it. And would you move it to Ohio? She said, it's easier for us to do some of the things we want to do if you could do it here. And so we're like, sure. So we just kind of hopped back in, 2 feet in, and it was great. Last year was super, super great. So this year We even have more people coming. I think by the time we're done, we have about 75 more people coming than
That's
last year.
awesome.
So we are really excited about it. I literally just said to Ryan yesterday, the day before, I said, Ryan, I'm working on the schedule and who's speaking when and what they're speaking about and workshops and all that. And I said, honestly, this content is so good. I'm excited to hear some of these things. I'm like, there's so much value in it. And that's just the education part. Beyond that, I feel like people come and they connect and they make friends. And I can't tell you how many messages we've gotten of people saying, I'm in a small group now with 4 other organizers. And we Zoom once a month and we're on a group chat and we answer questions and we help. And if they said, I didn't even know these people before I walked in the door. So
well, and I think that organizers, a lot of times we're all on an island, right? And you might get together with someone that lives in your area occasionally, but I've always said I have an organizing bestie. And I've always said you have to find an organizing BFF because you need someone that you can just go to and be like, girl, you are not going to believe, no, but you are going to believe what happened to me today. And so having that connection, that's, that old Visa commercial, it's priceless. Like
really.
It is really important to have those people. And then also to have just the actual education you guys have. I signed up for all of my seminars the other day. You guys have absolutely great people coming to speak. To me, it's a no-brainer for people to go because we don't have a lot of events like this in our industry.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome
Totally.
and awesome that M Design is doing it too.
Yeah.
They are great.
M Design genuinely really cares about organizers.
Yeah.
And so when we promote M Design, it's out of a place of truth, because they are trying to invest. They're seeing the holes where, organizers are falling through and they're trying to fill the gap. And it's very sincere and genuine. So
it is.
As I say all the time, Brandie, you will never see us at Home+Sort being influencers. I'm just not that good of an actress or a liar.
Right.
We promoted a product and it ended up like a couple months later being terrible. And I had to go back on and tell the people, because I'm like, our word means something.
Yes.
And so M Design, they are the real deal with organizers, so that they are a wonderful partner. So,
and they make great stuff too, genuinely. Yeah. I do not have a partnership with them and I just love them. I just think they make awesome stuff.
And right now, again, Ryan and I were just talking about this last week, the price of products just across the board everywhere. It's just another level. We were talking about that we had just done a whole house, like unpack and move in for some clients. Their product bill was $12,000.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
But I want you to think about some of these bins that used to be $14 or
they're 25 or
Yeah. And I feel like M Design, the quality is so good. And I feel like you just are finding things at a better deal. And I say all the time, we don't ever want to lose someone on product. If someone's going to spend a ton of money, we would almost rather them spend it with their labor than just on product. And so it's like finding the high-end items that look good and give the look that you want without the ridiculous. I was looking for baskets on something before we got on this on a different website. And I'm like, these baskets are $65 a piece.
Yeah.
I need 8 of them.
Yeah.
Someone can spend $500 on basket. So they just have great options.
Tell me a little bit, if you can. I'm sure it's a very complex story, but how do you go about actually designing stuff with them? Do you guys work collaborative with them? Do you go to the studio? How does that work?
Yeah. So it is kind of a funny story, because we had a series of meetings at the M Design headquarters where the summit is. And so one meeting we showed up, and I can't remember what we thought we were coming for, but we go into this conference room and everyone's sitting around the conference room. It's typical. It's got all the glass doors and it's very typical business setting, which we're all like, we're not very businessy. Do you know what I mean? We come in and we want to chit chat and hug and know what's going on with your family. So anyways, we sit down and everyone's like, okay, give us all your ideas. And all these people are there and they've got like sketch pads and their computer design programs up. And we're like, oh, we're doing this now. Oh,
wait,
okay.
we had homework. There was an assignment.
We genuinely did not know that's the meeting we were walking into. And I have never felt more like, I don't even know that I have an idea.
I think I probably suggested some dumb things that they skipped on, but
Ryan's a real ideas person.
But it was
Yeah.
probably like 15 people around the table. We're in the center and it's like, ready, set, go. Like, oh, okay.
Really scary.
Hanging on your every word, hoping you have the next great product idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Our process with them is, which we say all the time. One thing I would say is something good that we've done, and Ryan is really, really great about this, is we just throw out asks to people all the time. Ryan says all the time, what's the worst they can do is say no? Then we're no worse off than we were before. So our product line with M Design, we got because we pitched it. And so they did not come to us and offer it to us. We went to them and put a plan together. And it was, we went to them and then COVID happened and then they were getting a new CEO. So it was like things kept getting pushed and pushed, but then they had a different CEO than they do right now. And we just really connected with her and she's like, I love this. I love you guys. Let's do it. And because we were their first licensing deal, it was just fun because I feel like we kind of all figured out what that looked like. And Ryan and I had our list of what we thought holes were, which is very interesting because I feel like there's holes in the market, but then there's holes for organizers. Because I think we all use product differently than your typical person just at home in Iowa online shopping, you know?
Totally.
And so we started creating things and talking about things that we thought you couldn't find, whether in a certain price point and certain finishes. And we kind of started from there with them. I know our product that has done the best in our product line is our baskets. And we felt like M Design needed a basket that looked a little more high end, but that could be in a closet or in a living room credenza or in a pantry. And so the sugar caning, that's what it's called, right, Ryan?
No.
Not sugar caning. It's just caning. I call it sugar caning. I don't know why.
You can call it whatever you want.
What's the description of that basket?
I mean, you can call it caning, that's fine, but
I don't know why I call it sugar caning, guys.
Yeah.
It's like the in and out, right? Like basket weaving sort of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so that's what we tried to do. And so we just would bring our ideas. And then it's really interesting because you have ideas, but then there's all these parameters about what can be turned into a product. It has to be certain dimensions. They know their dimensions that sell well. It also has to be, I never thought about like, okay, where it has to be certain dimensions even for shipping because shipping is expensive and box sizes and all these things. I feel like we learned a ton that we would have never you guys have
probably learned from each other because I'm sure on the manufacturing end, they have learned a ton of stuff from you of like how real people use things.
Yeah,
totally.
And then you've learned things about like, well, you can't have this extra 1/2 inch because then that will make the shipping container 2-bit, whatever. Like you probably both have learned, oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Well, and the nice thing again about M Design is that their products are so good. Like the quality is there, which is so important to us because we had some people pitch us ideas and we're like, no thanks, hard pass. That's why we went, we sought out M Design because their stuff is really good.
Well, and I think you guys have an additional layer of you're putting your actual name on it, right? And your brand, you're putting your name and your heft behind it. But when I just think about all of us who are regular organizers taking things into people's homes, we are spending their money on things and we want them to be good things. Our reputation is behind that at a much smaller level. And that's a big deal.
Totally.
We can't have people getting $12,000 worth of stuff and then having it break and fall apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
And in certain things, it was funny that they would pull out a bin for something and we're like, that doesn't work. And let me tell you why. The grading of your bin is too big. Bars are going to slip through. All these things that they were like, I never would have thought about that. And so that part it's like the collaboration. There's just beauty in the collaboration of what you both bring to the table.
So if you had to go back to the very, very beginning and tell yourself, hey, what would we do differently? Would you do anything differently or would you keep it exactly the same? Just your journey is your journey.
Oh no, I do a lot differently. Like 2 months ago when it's like, hey, should we invest in this? And then it didn't pay off.
I'd have to think about that. I'm sure there are things, I think everyone in hindsight would look at something and go, oh, that felt like it was going to be a better decision than it actually was. I think our journey, we've gotten to experience a lot, and that has been fun. We've had some really high highs, but to be honest, we've had some very low lows. And I think just the constant reminder of perspective, it's like, I've got 3 kids and chaos happening in another end of the house. And that reminds me that this is the perspective of this life and business and all the things that matter to us. And I think when we're caught up in thinking that we have to do all these things to look a certain way, none of that even matters. It's like, ew, who cares? And so I think I don't know that I think there are small decisions that we've made that have been like, yeah, we shouldn't have put money there. We thought that investing in that or hiring this PR firm for this or that was going to do more for us than we did. I have regrets like that. Like, could have saved us 20 grand,
Yeah, that's my regret of like some money things that I wish we wouldn't have invested in.
Yeah, that just didn't pan out the way we thought they would. I would say that, but I think the rest of it, it's been a real journey to be where we are now and figuring out the things we've done. I'm super grateful. It was no joke. My accountant told us when we started this, don't even officially start at the beginning, because we were like a couple months, we started in the fall, and she's like, hey, if this doesn't pan out, don't waste all your time with all that. Cause then taxes, it won't mess you up. You won't really need to claim anything. So we're like, okay. Yeah, they never hire us. That's really how we started. And then it took off over time. But, I think too, for the summit, we don't ever want to make anyone think that something is something that it's not. Cause I think people can feel bad about themselves or feel discouraged. Like, oh, well, they're all doing this and we're not doing this. And I think everybody's in their own lane. Everybody's on their own journey. There's people that we've watched that have gotten opportunities that we wish we would have gotten that we didn't, and vice versa. We just want our journey for it to be used somehow that makes people's lives better, and the summit that people can come and get filled up and encouraged and educated and leave feeling like they can make it, another year, another day when they thought maybe before they couldn't. So.
And I love that. And I know I was not able to come to the summit last year, but I know a bunch of organizers who went, who just said it was like this really fulfilling experience. And I love what you just said is maybe this keeps you going for another year. Like maybe you feel like I'm not on an island. I definitely can do this. You get inspired by the people around you, and inspired in a good way, not inspired in a negative way by comparison.
Totally.
And get some good information, really make those connections. And I know that people are so excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And believe it or not, the summit is not the Brandie and Ryan show at all. It really is about everybody that's there. And we always want that to be the case, because it's not about us. We are just the people that created the environment for, Ryan's idea worked. And so
let me tell you though, but if you want practical education about organizing, you've got to be there. And you're going to find things too, where you're like, oh, okay. Like, let's say you come and, talk about your course. Someone's going to need that. Yeah. And they might not have known about it unless they came to the summit, because maybe they, missed, following you or something like that. So it's so good for like nuts and bolts organizing, but also for your big picture dreaming. It's just a really great 2 days for any organizing business. I know there are things last year where we were kind of working it. We were doing different things of coordinating, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could sit down and listen to this, because I want to know this for Home+Sort.
Yeah.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about some of the seminars that people are going to be presenting, just so people know like what kind of stuff is going on?
Absolutely. So something that we're doing different this year that we haven't done before is the first day is like, we call it like our welcome and mixer party. But what we're doing is we're doing workshops on that first day. So we have 5 different workshops. Everyone gets to pick 3, although we are going to give out the notes from every workshop to everyone. So if you miss a workshop, like for instance, Rachel Rosenthal from Rachel Organizes, which she's kind of a genius and has been incredibly successful in this industry for a very long time, is doing a whole entire workshop on press. The woman knows press inside and out. She's been on the Today Show. She just has incredible press. And so if you don't get to go to that workshop, you still get all the handouts talking about press. So which is really, really great. But
That's
I'm
fantastic.
excited about workshops because they're longer times. They're 45 minutes. So there's time for kind of the teaching, but then question and answer, and just to kind of get to workshop. You
Yeah.
know, if you have a question, you're like, hey, this is my burning question. I think those are going to be really great. We're talking about press. They're talking about scaling, which the tagline was what to do when you don't have any work. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Does that apply to like
Yeah.
everybody at some point in your business? That will apply to you. So press scaling, we're doing a whole workshop on content creation for
I
just,
know who's teaching these. Do you want to tell us?
so Rachel Rosenthal is teaching press. Heather Bifulco is teaching the scaling workshop. Tracy Bowers from Organize with Tracy out of Utah, who we adore. She is teaching a whole workshop on product planning, what to do when you need to do all your product shopping online, how to prep for projects, how to manage inventory, all that. And so it was really interesting because a survey that someone had told us about, the number one thing people said they struggled with was product. And I'm like,
It's huge.
that was shocking to
That
me.
shocked me.
It shocked me because I'm like, oh, I would have thought there's like 10 other things I can think that I would maybe struggle with, but the product was the number one. So I thought, okay, so they're going to have a 45-minute class on how to manage that. And then there's question and answer time, which I love.
And an interesting thing that we're going to be doing this year is, information is power. And so we're going to be taking a series of data-driven questions and then giving that data, all the results to the organizing community, because we haven't finished the questions, but it'll be interesting to see, okay, this is kind of what's happening over here. This is what's happening over there. We want to equip the organizing community. We're all going to be together. It's like, we might as well get some of this information while we're together.
Yeah.
I think that also helps because I've done a few things like that in our group. And I think it helps people also to know, one, you're not alone on XYZ. And then also it busts some assumptions that people have about, oh, everyone's doing this or everyone's doing that. It really helps you get some actual numbers that say, oh, this is not what I thought it was. It's great.
Yeah.
I know, that's
think
so
just
good.
even some pricing breakdowns. I feel like people have questions all the time. And I know we're all in different markets, but so helpful. And so the M Design marketing director is leading a workshop and all about like marketing, what's happening, what you need to know right now. And then we have two gals named Carson and Sierra they are kind of experts at social media content creation for someone who wants to create content, wants to figure out how to capture projects and all that kind of stuff. And how do you do it? And it's actually like, you can do it and it's not overwhelming for the people that do all their own social, which is most everyone. And so then we have just in all of our other incredible speakers, we have Ashley and Marissa, who founded the NEAT method. They're going to be speaking and talking about some of their journey and things that they have done really well and the things that they wish they had done. What I love is Mindy Godding. She is the president of NAPO. She is speaking and she is going to talk all about how to set your business up if you eventually want to sell your organizing business.
Oh, nice.
It's like, I don't know, never would have thought about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I'm like,
I know someone that just did it a couple weeks ago, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, but even knowing that there's things that you should be doing right now as you build your business to set your business up to be able to sell it. I feel like that's super valuable. Jen Martin from Reset Your Nest is talking all about teams. Her business is doing some crazy things, but talking all about teams, how to build, what that looks like, and maybe even some like different ideas than people have thought of. Then we have Rhea Safford from Reorganize is speaking, Jen Robin from Life in General, Cindy Kuzenman from Cindyology. So these are just incredible people that I know some of these people incredibly well. Jen Roban is one of Ryan and mine's dearest friends. Things that she has done, I just don't know that anyone else has had the kind of business and success that she has had as a individual business.
Her business is like, I wish our business could be like hers one day.
The amount of
Rachel Rosenthal, her business, it's like, wow, that's crazy. Her business is incredible.
Yeah. There's just really incredible people that have so much to offer. And a couple of these speakers spoke last year also. And I was thinking about this because I'm like, is that lame or weird if someone speaks more than once? But
Not
knowing
even a little bit.
ladies, that's what I thought. Knowing these ladies in their business journey, they're constantly evolving, which is why they're so successful and doing incredible things. Oh, one more thing. There's a gal named Dina. She's from NABPO, National Association of Black Professional Organizers. And she's also a psychologist. And she's doing a talk on kind of the psychology of organizing, what it's like to deal with a client that maybe has some issues with their stuff, or maybe you're working for a client that has some mental health challenges and you don't even know it. And so I think just diving into all these topics is going to be really, really great. A ton of value.
It's going to be a lot. You're going to want to take notes because it's going to be a lot.
One thing really quickly, I just want to say to people, the one thing so I have said this, I came from a corporate background where it was cutthroat and everybody's like really mean to each other. And one of the things I love about organizing is organizers do not gatekeep largely. Like organizers, like the fact that you have all of these really amazing people coming and spilling all their secrets, like they're saying, hey, here is my playbook. That's awesome. That's awesome. There aren't many industries that you can find that where people are so giving and so sharing.
Yeah, I would say my honest opinion about the organizing community is it's the best around. I would say the one area we need to work on, and Brandie might feel this way too, is we're a bunch of type A. We know how to do it. We've got the answer type of people. And I would say turn that off while you're at the summit and just listen and absorb and, soak it in. Maybe it's me being the youngest in baby, my family always being told what to do, but I never think I know it all.
Totally.
And probably because of that, I can learn a little bit more. And so I would just say that organizing community, come like ready to soak it in. You have nothing to prove. No one expects anything of you. Come and just enjoy yourself and leave with a better business.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's all of our goals, right? All of us who exist to try to build up organizers, we just want people to build the business that works for them. And we want to give you as much information as possible so that you can go and do that. And I think it's awesome. I am so excited to come. I cannot wait. I was so happy when I clicked my little ticket the other day. One of the reasons that we wanted to have you on this podcast is to tell people a little bit about, we definitely want more people to be there. We have a ton of the Inspired Organizer group going, and we just want to tell people all about it. So it's September 21st and 22nd in my home state, Ohio, the Buckeye State.
Hey, let me talk about Ohio. 1 minute you're in Ohio, 2 hours later you're in another state. It's a great place. In California, you're just in California.
You're in California, and then you're just in California, and then you're still in California.
100%.
Ohio is beautiful too.
Yes, Ohio is a slept-on state, but
we're like, oh, this is what a nice freeway looks like.
Well, it's because there are tolls up there. They're up north. There are tolls, so they have nice highways. Down where I grew up. Not so much.
Oh, yeah, they're beautiful. I'm like, look at all these green trees.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
So September 21st and 22nd in sunny Cleveland, Ohio. It is a packed 2 days. So
it's packed 2 days.
Which is,
and we start on that Thursday at 3:00. So it gives people time that want to travel on Thursday and don't need to come in Wednesday night. Especially, I feel like if you're from like Texas over, you can get there in time on Thursday. West Coast, you just can't. But if you go to the howtosummit.org website, all accommodation things on there, there is a link for a special rate with the hotel. We have it on 2 hotels, 2 Marriott, 2 hotels in the Marriott family that are literally across the street from each other. And I know everyone pretty much stays at those hotels. So that's really fun too, because even that is like everyone's in the same area. And there is, once you register, you are added to a Facebook group, and people talk about ride shares on there and what's everybody wearing, all the important stuff. What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? It is the most important thing.
It's 100% the most important thing, but it is worth it. It is, the $350 on the ticket and then your travel. I just guarantee you it will be the most bang for your buck investment.
I will already be able to tell you without having gone, the ROI is going to be astronomical. So just think about 1 or 2 things you get from this. That if you get 1 client from it, you have paid for your entire trip. That's what I want people to think about. I want everyone to change their brain about investment and money spent in your business. 1 client pays for the whole thing.
Totally. Absolutely.
So, well, we are excited to be there. I will link everything in the show notes. I will put up a blog post about it too, so everyone knows what is going on. Brandie and Ryan, thank you so much. I could talk, by the way, I could talk to these ladies for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
100%.
We could too. That's why it's our problem.
I've tried to keep it to a minimum so that they're not like, well, do I live here now? So.
This is, you know what it is? It's like a foreshadowing of what happens at the summit, because you're all of a sudden sitting with someone and you're like, this happened. And it's like, it's being understood. Isn't it just nice to be at a table where you're just understood and people get you? Because most would never get it.
I have said that before. My husband is very patient and very nice, and he will listen to my stories, but it's just so much better when you don't have to give 12 different explanations of, so I was redoing the silverware drawer, and just to have someone know, like, oh, I know. Did you use bamboo? Did you use the, you know, it's dumb, but it just, you just need your people that understand you. So
yeah,
100%.
Yes.
Love it. Well, I'm excited to meet you guys in person, in human person.
Oh yes.
Same.
It's going to be great.
Well, thank you for having us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you guys so much.